So earlier today, it was announced that this summer there's going to be a RWBY anime produced by Studio Shaft called RWBY Ice Queendom, and they revealed the designs for Team Ruby and Team Juniper in it, and I believe that basically everything I just said, I think, is all that we know. And if more was revealed, I missed it, and I'm sorry. But regardless, I wanted to go through the 8 new designs that the characters were given, and rank them from worst to best, and share my first impressions of the designs. So, number 8 is, of course, right here on screen, John. Now, and it's literally just because it's like, oh wow, he changed his glove and he put on a scarf. Like, sure, it's practical, and because he wears jeans and a hoodie anyway, it makes sense that he wouldn't need much more than that, but it's such a minor change that makes it kind of boring and uninteresting, despite the fact that he doesn't really need much more of a change. So even though this is my least favorite, I don't think it's horrible. It's just a little boring. Then we have RWBY, which is literally, yeah, like she put on modern ski gear. And I do think it's in character that it's like, rather than like normal winter clothes, it's like specifically ski gear. Like, that makes sense. And I do feel like that because of her speed, being able to put goggles over her eyes in general does definitely make sense. So also a pretty solid design. Then 7 is Ren, and it's just because, okay, like, he's got fluff on his shoulders, and the shirt is long to cover his legs. And, like, yeah, it makes sense, but it's also not really that different. Pretty simple. However, after this, the designs, in my opinion, go a lot better. Get a lot better. Because with number 5 is, obviously, Yang, and I like this one a lot, just because her hair is still long, but I feel like that with it tied back, it's more tidy and it's more in control and not all over the place, but it's still long the way she likes it. And also, in addition to that, the color scheme is the same, and what parts of her body that are covered is the same, but then the stockings are inverted. I like it, like, because it's the same outfit, but with thicker material and, like, an inverted palette. And it does have the whole half pant thing from Volume 4, I guess, whereas it's booty shorts in the other design, but it meshes well. And also, goggles make sense because for a snow environment. Like, in general, with them being in a snow area, anyone that has goggles is gonna get points. So number 4 is Nora. Now, with Nora's, I get that technically they also just were like, yahoo, we put her in gloves and a winter coat. But I feel like that the color scheme of the coat fits her a lot better than it did with RWBY and Ren. And also, it still has the hearts and stuff on it, and then also the ear mufflers for the cold is a very nice touch. So now we're going to be moving into the top 3, and these next 3 are definitely all like the S tiers and are definitely by far my 3 favorites of the designs. So we have Blake. Now, when it comes to Blake, this design is amazing for so many reasons. One is that I do prefer Blake with long hair over short hair, so I'm glad to see the long hair is back. Also, the aesthetic of half bow, half ear is also amazing. And then also the additional cat traits, because the gloves are very much so like cat claws, and then also she is literally wearing a collar. Like, I just like everything about this design very much so works. Definitely a top tier design. And I would go so far as to say that, in my opinion, this is probably the best design that Blake has ever had from all of RWBY. Then number 2 is Pyrrha. Now this one's a little weird because it's one of those categories where, like, the fact that she doesn't have the tiara does feel a little weird. Also, the outfit is very much so not designed for cold weather, but I also like the how long the hair is and the way it looks down, and it's also a far more regal and elegant and like princessy design than she had before, and therefore I feel like that it really works. Like in this case, I do think that the original design on the left is better, just because Pyrrha's always been one of the best designed characters in the franchise. But even though the new design is technically a downgrade, it's still better than all the ones we've covered. And then number 1 is, of course, then Weiss. Now, I feel like that this is partially because of personal biases and just the fact that, like, because I've always had a natural affinity for the character, and therefore, even no, like, and I can't completely just shove a bias away. But then also, in addition to that, her design is very much so Esdeath, and I could easily see people being like, "Oh, she's just Esdeath. That's lazy." But considering that RWBY has always directly borrowed ideas from anime before and openly acknowledged it, I don't think the fact that they essentially were like, "Yes, Weiss is now Esdeath," I don't think that that's bad, even though it's clear that her design was inspired by that. And yeah, so there you go. And until next time, peace.